na me muni kwa kunti twantam ma me ne Dr. Komensa a wono ye political analyst en twenkomo doc anopa ye mo akwa baba Angel 102.9 FM so
good morning to you.
Doc, we ma me ne untin komo mfiri wotew awiai Alan Kyerematen se wo baba ye press conference na mehwe press conference no se ampaniampa nuane ampa ne flyer epie ye wamfa MPP ho aka de bia ntoso na wode Ghana flag bi na ato ase na me ready ye na me intela me peke ye nso kire se awiai wanhwe yi a mre bi asem wesi ye no ebi besie wodu ani adi akire na adi asem na adwen se betumi aba within the MPP and the effect of it.
Okay. Well, me who flyer no because currently I'm in Ghana and of course I follow social media, but me who them particular flyer in America no, and I knew exactly what the issue could be. I think that if submit to my deduction, I remember there after for the delegate super delegate conference meeting no card there, they are analyzing the results. And then they are analyzing the entire process and will come out at some point, to tell us their way forward. And see, if there had been an announcement of him, I suspect he's coming to talk about the competition, i.e., Mosi, the last super delegate, and perhaps going forward in November. But me sure exactly what will be the content of the Botugwa.
Yeah, kai 79 DSC PFP any UNC Professor would when ye dear chiri na dia na would deduct free more
because I know it was Victor Usina came I think that was one of the big blows to UP fraternity now. When they knew that they could win the election, but into Sibia and Yejumama, what's so on. Into I think that one, yes, it could be, but me sure they be or form a new party, and I'm not sure, and I don't think that is the message.
Prof, a reliable information. Na me mpese besienti and medical to omoto. Every say adia no e cost one ese stopping no. From a reliable information na ebesi.
Okay. Well, I think if that's the case, then it is a huge issue. I mean, for you to have a very, very big political player in the Ghanaian elections, coming to say something, closer to what happened in the 70s, I think it will be a landmark, news, really, because actually, Alan Kyerematen's stature in the MPP and the Ghanaian political landscape, what do you call, all together now. This is a very huge party person. This is a very huge candidate. So if it's anything closer to what had happened before in the country, and I think there will be a landmark indeed. It will be very huge, very huge story.
What are the chances if the America a Kosona is here? What are the chances for the 2024 election?
Hey, because that would be the first time a major candidate had actually stepped out of a major political party, especially in our current dispensation. I mean, most of the time it had been only MPP, NDC, with incursion of Indum, incursion of CPP, led by Tama CPP, Abu Sakara, or basically CPP. And I think it brought some energy, but election, we couldn't actually see any impact. Of course, Kwesindumne leadership of CPP brought some energy, some hope that we can actually have a certain third force. Honestly, election, but you can understand from the platform of CPP, in a PPP, these were not major political parties. One candidate, so you would say that they are major political candidates, political personalities in Ghana. Indum, we know him as a business person, but in terms of the political clout, was not at the level that, you would actually equate it to Alan Kyerematen. Alan Kyerematen is massive in terms of politics. And I think that if you want to talk about the chances, I think this will be the first time we've had a very major political personality stepping out of these two political parties. And that would be huge. It would have a huge consequences in our elections in 2024.
Yeah, can NDC muna ubeda samwamo na wamu ye very huge in the NDC. Yate ya huo. Ezo NDC sebio said ye na huo din sa anatie. Na enano gusitano. Wano nso te ne ho akofome the Reform Party. Ebra ye ko 2000 election. Ene affect gusitano mum to the extent say such a brilliant personality, such an astute personality within the NDC. By virtue of what train who form the Reform Party, as a jijano, is it the case if Alan makes this move, there is a likelihood it will hurt him as a person as opposed to the party?
Now, it's a good reference point, Emma, about Guzitano and Obeda Samoa. Now, let's look at the two, personalities and, analyze them in relation to Alan. Supposed, meeting for the speech of Obama. Actually, Guzitana and a Reform Party. Reform Party was a strategy. I don't think that anyone who is, a political analyst would say that Guzitano's formation of Reform was indeed a breakaway, as it were. It was a breakaway from the NDC, but it was a strategic breakaway because don't forget the NDC were for me for the Guzitano for me Reform in a requirement for me the Eagle Party, and these individuals were coming from an NDC stock which people had been somehow there was fatigue. Ghanaians had some sort of they were tired with NDC. So when these two parties broke away, they were to pick up on the fringes. I want to feel there were NDC supporters, but they were sort of tired with NDC. They were fatigued, so that they can actually bring them together in the D-Day. And what did we see? Abra election is the Eagle Party in a Reform Party came into a coalition agreement, isn't it, with the NDC? So it was a strategic breakaway. I don't think that it will be the same as Dema or Fred Alan if indeed that is the story, as I say. And then again, Guzitano, by doing that, remember after Fred and Jerry the time, and actually the association with Jerry Rollins, I think there had been a new era of NDC. And he was not going to really fit within the new, regime of the NDC, because NDC had then gone through a sort of a rebranded NDC with Atamils leading, with a huge sway of the academia backing Atamils in terms of, presenting an entirely new, NDC from the Jerry's time. So it was not going to fit within the current dispensation from the PNDC era up until the current dispensation. Guzitano was not going to fit, Actually, Fred Obeda Samoa. Obeda Samoa had never been a very compelling presidential candidate. He could be a stalwart, or he's not a could be. He's a stalwart in NDC, PNDC, NDC, massively influential within the party. But as a presidential candidate, we had never seen him contest. Of course, at the time, it had been Jerry Rollins all the time, and I had always said that. Actually, NDC in the past, it was personality-centered. It was not a party collective. Until now, NDC changed a bit much more of a collective.
As a Sadia. Okay, I think you have to get a Professor back online now.